Well, hello to everybody here. It's Teresa Sanderson. Super excited to connect with you today for another episode of the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. I've got with me today Dr. Chibunna Nwaobia, who is a dear friend of mine, and I'm super excited to have you here today, Dr. Chibunna.
Hello, good morning. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. So for those of you who've not met Dr. Chibunna, let me just tell you a little bit about him. He is a multi-talented professional and an identity expert. He is a PhD in health services, master's in counseling psychology, and another master's in nursing leadership and management. He's taught in multiple institutions of higher learning, both at undergraduate and graduate levels. And he's the founder of an organization called NursesBond, a professional organization that's dedicated to assisting individuals to network and learn to further their career. Dr. Chibunna is a renowned life coach. He's capable of meeting you where you are and taking you where you want to be in your health, wealth, and relationships. He also coaches young adults and college students who want a real focus and clarity of purpose in their lives. Oh my gosh, so excited to have you with us today, Dr. Chibunna. Thank you for joining us.
Once again, thank you for having me.
I love it. I love it. And, for those of you who don't know, I actually met Dr. Chibunna just last year when we were both attending the National Nurses in Business Association conference. And we connected there and I ended up seeing him at his conference last year, the ELEX conference in Houston. And wow, so it's just been a fun journey so far getting to know you.
Honestly speaking, I love it. I love nurses feed their young.
Oh gosh, thank you. Thank you so much. So Dr. Chibunna, we've talked a little bit about, your overall bio, but I know nurses in the group are going to want to know a little bit about your history. What kind of nursing have you done? What settings have you worked in? And I know, you're a scholar, obviously. So tell us a little bit about your history in nursing.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, I have been there, done that. And people will look at me and say, how many years have you put into nursing? Let me start from there, because everybody wants to, evaluate what you have done in nursing by number of years. And I always like to start that, because it's not by number of years, it's the impact you have made in our dear profession that matters a lot. I just want to, start from there. But yes, started, nursing in my country. I just wanted to, I have that compassionate heart. I just wanted to help people in a way that I can. Joining nursing, I felt that, where I come from, we have opportunity to either do medicine or do nursing. And I look at the two, and, the medical student, we were just all in the same class until we decided to move to where we, wanted to go. And I looked at the hospital, look at what I needed to do. My heart was just in the nursing profession. I said, well, I'd rather go do this, because that's where I will have most impact to humanity than the other. So that was how I started. So, starting that, and we had opportunity to go into psych and in midwifery, so I just love it. So my mind went into midwifery, and it will interest you to know that I have delivered more than 150 babies.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't told you that before.
Yeah,
So,
you have not.
I started as a missed husband. So after getting my nursing degree, and we went into, in my country, I went into midwifery just to learn about it and all those, and it was phenomenal. I love it. I'm a person that likes to see things from the beginning to the end. So I like to see the process of, from, how the baby is formed to when the baby is delivered, and how baby is grown and how we grow to become adults. So that was my interest of how I started nursing. So I learned it to my fingertips that I started teaching it. So I taught in School of Midwifery, just teaching. And I can remember using Miles' textbook for midwives, to get through all of those. So that was how I started. So getting to the United States, of course, you have to challenge the board here. which I did. And everybody, until you get experience, started working. I started working, in what's it called? Nursing homes.
Okay.
Just to,
Get
get
started.
myself again, get
Mhm.
started from there. I moved into med-surg, and from med-surg to telemetry, worked there a few years. I moved into mental health. And from
Wow.
mental health, then I have decided to, know the reason why people behave the way they do. When I
Mhm.
moved in here to the state, I said, why do people behave the way they do? So that was what led me to go into master's, and I got my counseling and psychology. After that, I went into mental health, and I grew over there, became a, assistant nurse manager, went to manager, and became a director. And I worked there for 6.5 years. So
Wow.
after that, I moved back to med-surg, telemetry, and DOU, and I also became, a director of nursing in that aspect, which I did for 2.5 years also.
Wow.
Then I moved to becoming the chief clinical officer, where I worked for over a year.
Fantastic.
Pandemic came and all the
Yeah.
stuff, and I decided to, support Snap Nurse, which is a travel nurse agency. I became their regional clinical manager, supporting 8 states, where I
Oh,
make sure
wow.
that our nurses go to the hospital, do what they're supposed to do, and make sure that all the clinical aspects are fixed,
Mhm.
and make sure that our patients there are safe. So that has
Wow.
been my nursing journey, and I've loved every bit of it.
Oh my gosh, I just love it. And I think you have one of those careers that is indicative of the many different opportunities that we're blessed to have as nurses. We can go so many different directions and we never have to be bored. There's always something new, there's always something different that we can find. Congratulations on all that. That's incredible. And all those
Thank you.
babies.
Thank you so much. And, people ask me, how are you able to do this and do that? I said, well, that's why we have human brain to, dive into whatever aspect. And that's the beauty of nursing. You just don't have to stay one place. You
Love
can
it.
do what you love, get experience in different,
Mhm.
discipline, different specialties, so that, you have a general knowledge of our
Absolutely.
dear profession.
Absolutely. And so, you have a highly skilled background in nursing. What drew you to the world of entrepreneurship?
Well, one thing with nursing is all about, your business called Nurses Feed Their Young.
Mhm.
I look at our profession and I see, I started by telling you today about how many years you've been in nursing. So
Mhm.
when I got to the States, and, I found out that the first thing people ask you is, how long have you been a nurse? And you said 1 year, 2 years. Oh, you are a baby nurse. I said,
Mhm.
what does that mean to be a baby nurse? What is the difference between someone who have worked 30 years and someone who has worked 5 years? You said it's experience.
Mhm.
Okay, so, but you don't know it all.
Mhm.
So I look at number one, that nurses, that phrase that nurses, I don't want to say it, but feed their young. So I look at it, I said, we need to start feeding our young. That's number one. And I also look at, how people work in the hospital, both the doctors and other, multidisciplinary team. Once after taking care of the patient, they don't they don't they don't look at each other anymore, to the point that even if you see your colleague, or somebody, maybe a doctor, in the parking lot, you don't even say hi,
Right.
even at Walmart or any store. So I look at that, I said, why is it that we are frenemies? I used to say that nurses and other healthcare professionals are frenemies. We claim to be friends only in the hospital to take care of our patient. After that, we don't come together. Even nurses, it's very difficult for us to come together and talk about our own issues.
Mhm.
So for that reason, I said, no, we need to bond. There's a reason we need to
Mhm.
come together to bond, to talk about things that are not only patients, related, but what about ourselves? At NursesBond, we say that self-care is not selfish. So that was how, I started my organization called NursesBond. And how
Mhm.
did I get the name? Nurses bonding with themselves and other healthcare professionals. How can we
Mhm.
create that bond? Remember, I've told you that I used to deliver babies, so I know
Yes.
what bonding means. People I've never told people where that name comes from. It's like
Oh,
bonding, as if a mother is bonding with the baby. So
mm,
I wanted nurses to learn how to bond with each other, how to connect with each other, how to network, how to have fun, because our work is
mhm.
really hard. So that was how I started NursesBond and where the name comes from. Can you believe it?
I love that. I love that story. And I love that you shared the history of the name based on your prior experience in midwifery. I mean, that's just so beautiful to really hear and understand the name. And I think sometimes we can't just understand from a name. I mean, NursesBond, I think it speaks for itself, but now you've given it a great depth by putting the
Yes.
history behind it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's wonderful. And so, how do you serve your clients then, Dr. Chibu? I know you're a life coach, you work with NursesBond. How do you serve your clients?
Okay. Number one, my clients are nurses, nurse leaders, nurse entrepreneurs. Okay. I'm friends of nurses, people in the healthcare profession. And the major thing that I do is to spread the message, the message of hope, the message of love. Like I love networking. I love connection. I serve them by bringing them together to network, have fun with each other, share
Mhm.
their ideas and values at professional levels and beyond. We work in the hospital, and some of us that are nurses, we like to do overtime. But apart from that, how do we take care of our families? How do we take care of our kids, our husbands, our boyfriends, girlfriends? How do
Mm.
we take care of our money? All these things, life insurance, some people go into real estate. How do we do that? So NursesBond created that opportunity for people to come and learn stuff and contribute and give, not only necessarily about the patient, but ourselves. In NursesBond, we focus on three things. We focus on authenticity, vulnerability, and intentionality. Come
Mm.
and learn from people, who have done it from the past, like share
Yeah.
their experiences, like what you are doing now, so that you can grow. So, we publicize it, we tell people. And another way is that we do, annual conference, which you were there in Houston
Mhm.
last time. We also do job fairs 2 times a year, and we do community service.
Cool.
We do webinars every month. We bring people together. We tell them, forget about work, come and think about yourself, your family. Okay, so at NursesBond, it's not all about work, it's about wellness and wealth. That is why the theme of our conference this year is, what is it for you? Work, wellness, and wealth. So we
Mm.
talk about all these things, we bring it together, because you are a nurse, you deserve the best. You deserve to live well.
Right.
You deserve to know where your money is going. You deserve to have work-life balance. So
Mm.
we do all this. It's all about service, and we tell our nurses, just come and listen to people. And the last part is, I tell people, if you know too much, come and give. If
Ah.
you think you don't know too much, come and learn. At NursesBond, we have it all.
Wow, blowing me away. Wow, this is incredible. I just absolutely love it. If you know it all, come and share. If you don't
Exactly.
know enough, come and learn. So simple, right? And
Very
so
simple.
humane. It's just, it's how we should treat each other. We're all
Yes.
welcome at the table. We're all welcome at the same table. I love that. I love that. So, goodness gracious, I've got goosebumps now. So tell me, Dr. Chibu, in the entrepreneurial world, there are a lot of things that are different than going to a traditional, workspace. What do you love most about um, working for yourself as an entrepreneur?
Number one is changing lives,
Mm.
changing mindsets. Let me tell you, we've been lied to so many times about time is money. Time is money. I've looked at time, that is something that worth way more than money. And as nurses, people, oh, don't waste my time. You've heard that before. Don't waste
Yep.
my time. And people, we trade time for money. But we have to let our money work for us. We don't, you know what I mean? We don't
Yep.
have to let our time, we don't have to trade our time for money. So,
Mhm.
what I like about what I do and working for myself is all about changing mindset. You need to learn that you are working
Mhm.
to give, not working to live. And I say it, if you've heard me, I always say,
Mhm.
as nurses and, I teach people that you are working to go give your expertise. You are not working to live. Nobody hires a dead person. And at work, they make you think as if, like, if you don't do this, you're getting fired. If you don't
Right.
do this, you are not going to pay your rent or your mortgage. But
Mhm.
hey, you were living before you come to that job. You
Oh.
came to that job to give your expertise. You have a resume. You said, hey, I have this, I have this, I have this, I can contribute this and this and that. So I serve my clients, serve the nurses to tell them that, hey, know your identity, know who you are, know your foundation. Go there to give your best. Don't go there to plead. Oh, without this, I cannot pay my rent. You will pay your rent. You were paying your rent before the job. So that
Mhm.
gives me satisfaction that I change lives. I help people to go to work, knowing the full meaning of the work they are going to do, that they are going there to serve. Of course, you will get reward for your service. But
Mhm.
the primary purpose of going to work is not to go get the money.
Mhm.
So this is what
Wow.
gives me fulfillment. Go there to serve because you get into nursing. There's a book, I teach in school.
Yes.
There's a book I always recommend to my students is Think Like a Nurse. Okay, I've forgotten the author. You have to begin to think like a nurse. What makes
Mhm.
you a nurse? Why did you join nursing? Why did you go into nursing school and all those stuff?
Mhm.
So I serve people, I tell them, go there to work, to give your best. And when you know
Mhm.
that you are giving your best, the next thing is that you can't give what you don't have. So you
Mhm.
have to rejuvenate.
Mhm.
You have to fill your bucket. You have to
Yep.
have fun. You have to love each other. And where do you get all those? At NursesBond. Just come and relate with us and have fun with us. We are here waiting for you. Remember, if you don't know it all, you come
Yep.
and learn. If you think you know it all, come and share. At NursesBond, there's room for every nurse and other healthcare professionals.
I love it. I love it. You have a mission just stamped on your heart,
Yes,
just imprinted. And I just think that it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see how passionate you are about NursesBond and the work you do there, because it really does take, it takes that kind of passion to make big changes, to
of
have a
course.
big impact. So I love that. I absolutely love it. So I want to shift gears a little bit, Dr. Chibu, and I know that you may work with people like this. Now I'm going to ask you to think about the one piece of advice that you would give to a nurse who is thinking about starting a business, maybe wishing and hoping that their life could be different, that they could have maybe more money, more time freedom, just less stress, some life balance, not miss out on children's events, right? Family events, important things. What advice would you give to a nurse, an aspiring nurse entrepreneur like that?
Okay, number one is you have to start from your passion. What is your passion? What are you passionate about? That's number one. Number two, you have to align it with your purpose. What is the purpose of your passion? Sometimes people don't know the difference between passion and purpose. And I
Mm-hmm.
tell people what it is. Okay, so passion is your desire, what you want to do. And you put it with the purpose. Who are you serving? Do they really like it? So the advice I have is try as much as possible to align your passion with your purpose. Why are you doing what you are doing? Why do you want
Mm-hmm.
to get into entrepreneurship? Why do you want to get into that business? What's the
Mm-hmm.
purpose of it? Is it because of money? Then what is your desire? What is your passion towards it? If once you can align your passion and your purpose together, boom, you get it done. That's why some businesses start and they fail because
Mm-hmm.
they don't know the real, difference between or how to align their passion and their purpose. And if you have passion that there is a purpose, no matter the obstacles on the way, you will continue.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have them together, that's an issue. And once you're able to do that, guess what you do? You will be able to start. Just go do it. Okay. The second one is
Love that.
get a coach. Get a coach. There's the difference between having a
Mhm.
mentor and a coach.
Yes.
And I, you know, me being a coach, I know I've been a mentor. I'm also a coach. So there's a difference between a mentor and a coach. A mentor will try to get what you want, you know, and just work with what you want. You just want to be with, you just want to be like someone. Then they will mentor you to be like who you want to be.
Right.
But a coach will bring out the action in you. Even those things that you think that you don't even know that exist in your life, you know, those your passion. So they will put it together. If you want to start a business, I just put it out there. When you have aligned, even if you don't know, you know, how to align your passion and your purpose, please do get a coach. That's why we are here. We have invested so much time. And in NursesBond, we have mentors, we have coaches too. Please get yourself a coach. Don't look at the money, because remember, when you serve, of course, you get paid. So go get yourself a coach. Learn from others, learn from people that have done it before, or bring, you know, learn how to, you know, align your passion with your purpose. And guess what? You will be very successful.
Fantastic. Oh, I love that. And that is very true. You know, when you align your passion and your purpose, it's like you're not working, you know,
Exactly.
and that's what they say, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. You know, so really find that, because I think many people do make the mistake of creating another job when they start a business. And that's definitely not where we want to be. We want something different, you know, so it's up to us to develop it and create something different. Great advice. Fantastic. So Dr. Chibu, I want to thank you again for joining us today. And before we finish up, I want to give you the next few minutes to just share with our viewers, how can they connect with you, any upcoming events or projects that you are working on that you want them to know about. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for that. You know, our audience are nurses. What are you waiting for? Join the NursesBond. Come and connect, come and bond with other healthcare professionals. That's very important. If you go to nursesbond.com, you will see, you know, who we are, what we do. And our next event, like I said, every month, you know, you can go to NursesBond and, you know, put in your information so that you can receive our, you know, newsletters and all other information that we have. So every month we have webinars which you can benefit from, and it's free. And when you join NursesBond, you also get CEUs, you know, 30 CEUs for free. I know.
Awesome.
You give CEUs. NursesBond also provides CEUs. And our next biggest event is the ELS conference coming up here in October in California here, because I stay in California. So last year was in Houston, Texas. This year is going to be at Ontario Airport Hotel and Conference Center in Ontario, California, October 20 to 22nd. ELS means Education, Leadership, and Entrepreneurship Experience Conference. So do you want to get into education? Do you want to get into leadership? Do you want to start your own business, or you want to solidify, get in front of the audience? This conference is for you. And I've already mentioned that the theme is what's next for you: work, wealth, and wellness. So if you want to see how to align your passion and your purpose, so this conference is for you. Please, you can get us at elisconference.com. Go there and register. And if you want to be a speaker in the areas of, you know, work-life balance, in the area of stress, burnout, or wellness, or actually wealth too, how to create wealth, how to start your own business, you know, how to solidify it, how to sustain it, please go to ELS conference, call for speakers, and register. Then you become a speaker. This is going to be a very incredible conference, because at NursesBond, all we do is we bond, we connect. It's more than work, more of relationship. And we don't do that enough. No matter how we think we are too busy. Get that little time, spend these 2 days with other professionals and see the difference. People that have done it, Teresa, you've been there. You've been there. It's wonderful. It's different from other conferences because of the bonding. And that is the mission of NursesBond. And when you come to our conference, you will see the difference. I don't know how to quantify it, but the quality is there. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. And yes, I totally agree. I was at the ELEX conference last year in Houston, and I had a wonderful opportunity to speak. But also what I noticed was the audience was very unique. It was a very high level professional audience full of scholars and leaders, and just movers and shakers were sitting in that room. And I was really astounded at the level of professionals that you brought and that I was able to meet and connect with at the ELEX conference. So if you haven't experienced it yet, I encourage you to look up the ELEX conference and also NursesBond. They've got some great things going on. So thank you again, Dr. Chibu, for sharing time with us today. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. So you audience, what are you waiting for? Join us. Just go do it. Take action. That's what we do.
I love it. All right, everybody, that concludes our episode of the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight, and I will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.